Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and folks watching at home on our YouTube channel. Welcome to the August 19th meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors. Tonight on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes for both a May 13th workshop and also May 19th and June 3rd business meetings. We'll be looking for a motion to approve an interim finance management services agreement, as well as a discussion on the reallocation of our CIP funds, which is capital improvement projects. Also, a contract for financial management services from Hamilton and Musser. This is slightly different from the other one. The other one was the one we discussed at the last meeting regarding our interim finance director. The clause in question has been removed, and that agreement is ready for approval. And finally, we have a motion to approve a winter maintenance service agreement with PennDOT. One other item, a preliminary final land development plan for a winter sports field house at Bishop McDevitt High School. The commissioners are all in their seats and ready to conduct business.
Thank you, Mr. Vernot. Welcome, everybody. I will call to order the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors meeting for August 19th. It is now 7:05 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Supervisor Najim.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we move on to the action items and public comment, I just want to make a quick note that we did hold an executive session immediately prior to this meeting to discuss personnel issues. All right, action item number 3, the approval of the minutes from May 13th, the workshop, and then May 19th and June 3rd business meetings. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in, any public comment or discussion on the meeting minutes? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Public comment. I would ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll raise my hand. Yes. Please state your name and address, and please speak into the microphone and make sure it's turned on.
Good evening, and thank you. My name is Marla Cattermole, 18 Care Street. And I just want to give a shout out of appreciation to the Office of Public Safety at the Police Department. I just noticed that the traffic in front of my house seemed to be going really fast. There seemed to be a lot of it, so I asked that a control box or a safety study be done to make sure there was no issues. And like within 3 weeks, they stopped at my house, they told me what they did, they told me the outcome, and they told me what they're going to do. And they satisfied at least 3 of the 4 things that I had asked for. So just want to give a shout out to the police department. They did a great job, especially Officer Rowland. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kudos to Director Kashiba. Any other public comment? Mr. Minsker, would you like to go first?
Good evening, board members and staff and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bill Minsker. I live at 5956 Linglestown Road on the square in Linglestown. My ongoing activity is to present to you a total of 10 projects which I am suggesting to you for consideration that not only will give recognition to our board and staff in a positive way, but also benefit our public. This is presentation number 6. You have a copy of it in front of you for your blue notebook. And eventually, when we get to the point of October 21st, that meeting, that will be project number 10. And at that point, I will summarize the projects, project 10 being that occurring at that date, and also give you a suggestion of how we can work to bring these 10 items into a solution with further study and possible action. So not only am I presenting to you items for your consideration, but eventually I will give you a package of a way to bring all of these things into fruition. And that will occur planning on October 21st. Project number 6 deals with streetlights, and there are 3 different avenues here that I would like to address. This is the 3rd time that I have appeared in front of the board in reference to these 3 items, and I really encourage you to finally give some thought to bringing these things into possible solution. The first of these, you'll notice on your page of introduction, the first of these deals with streetlights that are, for whatever reason, missing, and I'll explain that to you. The second deals with streetlight shields in Linglestown, and the third one deals with streetlights we have throughout the township that are constantly on and are never turning themselves off. You'll notice in the middle of your page, I have posed before and have not received answers because I'm not sure at the point we knew the answer to the question of how the electricity for these lights is paid. And I've given you 3 possibilities there, and one of these has to be true. Do we pay for electricity on our lights based on the total amount of energy that they use throughout the year? Do we pay for the electricity based on a monthly fee, a standard fee throughout the year? Or do we pay based on the number of streetlights? In any of those 3 cases, the issues that I'm presenting to you are creating a situation in which we are being cheated in payment to PP&L. And I have a concern about this. So you will notice on page 2 and page 3 of your paper, there are photos to illustrate 2 of these 3 areas. The first of these are streetlights that are missing. There are 2 of these that are missing. One was due to an accident due to a medical emergency directly in front of the Linglestown Firehouse old building. And where that cone is that you see circled, the complete streetlight was destroyed, but the wiring is still there. And that street light has never been replaced, but the wiring is still active and is still there. This is a hazard. It's been directed to PPL, but nothing seems to occur to them that they need to act to replace that light. The second I have mentioned for years and years and years, and this is a street light that is connected to the Village of Linglestown committee when we did our massive $6 million redevelopment project of the village. There was to be a street light that was erected at the new intersection of the Blue Mountain Parkway bypass and Blue Mountain Parkway. The pole is there, the electricity is there, but the street light was never placed into use. I would assume that in the activities of that project, PP&L was paid for this, but that street light has never occurred. So those are 2 street lights for my first concern that are missing, and we really should act on these to get them placed. The second is an ongoing issue in Linglestown, also traced to the Village of Linglestown project, our $6 million redevelopment, that when the 56 street lights were added to the village, by the way, we started with 12. We went from 12 to 56, which was a major improvement in the village. All of those street lights were to have a shield placed at the top. And if you look at page 3's photo, you'll see the street light, and 3 of us, Paul Rao and John Kepler and myself chose the light specifically because it would allow a shield to be put on the top. The shield would prevent light pollution shining up into people's second floor windows. Those shields were never placed onto those lights, and here again, I think PPL was paid for this. And this is an ongoing issue that has caused some concern for some people because these lights unnecessarily shine into their windows at nighttime. So my proposal is that through the township, eventually on October 21st, I'll give you more information on how I propose we do this, but that we put some pressure on PP&L to enact some activities to, again, bring these things to a conclusion. I remind you that these 10 projects are designed to be dynamic, daring, and doable. And eventually, I'll be showing you how, hopefully, we can get this done. Thank you very much for your attention.
Mr. Minsker. Mr. Minsker,
Yes, ma'am.
how old is the shield issue?
It goes back to the Village of Linglestown project, which was in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s, okay.
We finished the project 2012, I think.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Minster, can I ask, when was the last time you corresponded with PP&L about these issues? Has it been some time?
I recently was over a 3-month period in contact with them, mostly about repairing the streetlights throughout Linglestown that had burned out. We had a total of 15 after my second contact with them and sending them information with all the pole numbers and so forth, all the lamp post numbers and so forth. Eventually, they got this all repaired. I also mentioned to them at that time about the missing street light in front of the Linglestown Firehouse with the live wiring, which is why that cone is on top of that wiring.
I see that. Are there any other questions for Mr. Minsker? Mr. Brunel, go ahead.
Not a question, I just wanted to provide some information. So streetlights are not metered, so they don't get charged based on the amount of usage. Generally, they're costed by what they call lumens, which are essentially the amount of brightness that they put out, wattage and things like that, which means that it's generally the same fee every month, regardless of how long they're on. Now, in very rare cases, some lights can be metered, but those are generally private lights. So any of the public lights that were put in on behalf of the municipality by PP&L are charged by lumens. Just general information.
Without pictures, that third item, by the way, on the list are street lights that are on all the time. They don't turn off. There's
I
something
read that,
wrong
that's
with
why I
them.
figured you might want to know.
Yes, and those are visible. You can just see them on the streets that I have listed there on those 6 streets. You'll see the lights, one of which is just around the corner here from our township building on Prince Street, and the others over by Central Dauphin Middle School that are close to our building. But they're on all the time, and they should be addressed. I also mentioned that to PP&L in reference to my earlier comments about lights that needed repaired in Linglestown. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minsker. Is there any other public comment? Mr. Bostic?
My name is Bill Bostic, 6204 Elmer Avenue in Linglestown. I just wanted to give the board an update on some happenings with the square. We've had some success in getting some publicity, which never hurts, in terms of trying to get PennDOT to take some action and some awareness of what's going on there. The biggest discovery, really, it's not a new discovery, but more as a reporter, you try and confirm things before you talk about them. That's usually what you try and do. Every once in a while you make a mistake, but there's a lot of suspicion that these oversized loads that are coming through, we have one on July 30th and then one more recently on August 12th that came through and caused damage. The suspicion was that they had a permit from PennDOT to come through the village. And thanks to a couple that lives on the square, Leanne and Bob Ormsby, I was out surveying and looking at the square, and Mr. Ormsby came up and told me about what happened on the 12th. He had pictures. They were put on Linglestown Gazette, and they actually saw the permit that was issued by PennDOT for them to go through there with an oversized load. And there's been a lot of chatter on Facebook that that was the case from truckers and other people who work with PennDOT. So I'm confident that they still are doing that. An oversized load permit division of some sort. They're mapping, their computer information does not recognize the roundabout. And this last one on August 12th really carved out quite a lot of curbing there that it was on the outside of the vegetation, substantial damage. And so I just wanted to let you know that seems to be happening. It's been happening for 14 years, and that's why we periodically get these oversized loads through the village. The second thing, a few weeks ago I gave a 2-page report that outlined what I called a call to action. I would like you to disregard that. It was done very hastily, trying to get something done before that meeting. And what I'm going to do is come out with a very simple call to action with some bullet points on what I think needs to happen, not based on just me, but comments that I've received in talking with people one-on-one, and a lot of information on Linglestown Gazette with comments. And so I'll distribute that once I get it put in place. And I'm also going to take the step of contacting our elected state officials and try and meet with them individually, not just about this, but other situations too I'm following, to try and get this moving along. With our elected officials, they have some pull with PennDOT, or could potentially have some pull with PennDOT to have them take this seriously. So that's going to be the next thing. The last point is, in the reports that were filed recently, the reporting indicated that PennDOT plans to address the signs on the roads by the end of the year. And when it comes to the signs, we all know they're inadequate. We all know they're hard to see, and they're not doing a job. They never did a job adequately from the start. For whatever reason, that part of their program and working with the township was very insufficient. So with that pledge, hopefully they're serious about it, and I think this is certainly an area where you as the township officials can have some input. And I would suggest you have maybe 1 or 2 citizens join you, because if you don't live in the village and you don't see what's happening all the time, it's hard to put all that together in a package and be able to describe it properly. So that would be my hope, that there's some citizen involvement, and that when the township meets with PennDOT, that we have a real good idea what we feel is going to be steps in the right direction when it comes to road signs. And I'd like to speak with you, Mr. Koshiba, afterwards. Couple things to help me finalize this call to action. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Bostic,
Yeah.
where is Representative Kerwin's office in terms of the roundabout?
I haven't talked to them yet. So that once I get the call to action in place and have myself prepared, then I'm going to reach out to the state elected officials, and we'll see what they have to say. And in doing that, I'm really looking for them to lobby PennDOT. That's my goal, in reaching out to them, getting their help.
Kerwin's office is on Linglestown Road. It's west of the roundabout.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
Close on the others.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bosca. And Supervisor Najim, I know that he's been corresponding with officials from PennDOT. He has been on vacation for the last week and a half, but I know that he has spent a lot of time working on this issue as well.
Yeah, so I did reach out to the district executive, and he's in touch with their traffic engineer and assistant district executive of design. They're going to get an availability a few days, and then we're going to meet with public safety director and our traffic safety personnel and set up a meeting, whether it be here or a district office down on Her Street.
Okay.
But hopefully that should be within the next few weeks at best.
Okay, I'm going to check with you
At
afterwards,
most,
because I
sorry.
forgot my hearing aids. I'm not
No,
able
no
to hear
worries.
you properly.
Thank you, Mr. Bostic. We
Yeah.
appreciate your time. Is there any other public comment? Mr. Miller?
William Miller, 4311 Crestview. I wanted to give a shout out to Chief Kashiba's department. I mean, some of, I read a lot of news feeds and a lot of the stuff that's going on. He's really active out there. And I think that people need to know. I'm not going to elaborate on them because that's, if they want to read them, they can. But a lot of these things were serious. I mean, they're pretty interesting. On the square, I called a lot of people I know, and in the original PennDOT plans, allegedly there were to be larger signs and flashing signs before you get at the locations that are mentioned. And I was just told it might be good to mention that, and somebody could find that information. I really thought it was on your plate that you could find that, but it was there, and it's one of these things where allegedly it was denied. So it's another PennDOT thing. We're at a point where something's going to have to happen. It needs to be protected. And how does one guy get a waiver? And if you get a permit and you still smash something, you still should fix it. But and that brings up, Verizon, PennDOT, Viola. I'm still waiting on stuff. Jeff Motters helped me out again. He should get a shout out from the Highway Department, and so should Matt, for doing some heavy trimming. When we talk about something here, it seems to get done pretty quickly. But Viola, if you look into it, again, this is alleged, I've asked around, I'm told that they get a lot of maintenance money from the township on these hydrants. So much per hydrant per month. And I won't quote a number, but when I was told what I was told, I thought it was pretty high. And they could certainly afford to hire a couple of, some college guys, guys that can have working papers and paint these things and clean them up. Because if we're going to pay for maintenance, I'm debating what are we really getting for that maintenance. The lights you mentioned, especially, again, in the old days, I guess, the city was metered by the block. I did a lot of work with that, and you got billed and stuff didn't work and they were on, you paid. Then I was told here, the average is 12 hours on, 12 hours off, I believe. And that's a good assumption. The problem with the lights around here, the township has an ordinance on they have to be shielded and downlit. And I find that a lot of these commercial guys, they must put their own lights up. And again, codes have been very good in going out and when they can. No, they're at night. They're done working. They see them when they see them. But like in Linglestown, that tobacco shop, they did some work there. It's still at. I almost feel on a commercial property that they just have to start getting permits and getting inspected. They're just not doing. They don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of. I found a couple of these places. They put the lights up themselves. Well, they don't know what to do. A competent electrician knows the code. We don't have licensing here, but still. You can easily get a permit to, you're going to impede the public safety with lights and so on. You drive up Lock Willow, you come up there by the gas station there or whatever, and you're looking at the car wash and that light right up there. I'm blinded every time I go up there. Even the PennDOT lights aren't shielded, and they put up all these new lights, and they're the ones that are failing. They're on all the time. So to wrap it up here, I've often wondered if we shouldn't have a number that when you call utilities, they can take a report of a light that's on all the time, a light that's off and isn't working or damaged, and also the ones that are overgrown. Now at Loop Drive, they've trimmed that a couple of times, down that little hollow there. It's a bad spot. They actually have PPL has arborists all over the state, and then they go to that tree. And then they make an informed decision, and then they have people that are specially trained. They have the high voltage truck, they have all the clothing and shielding and gloves and tools that you're supposed to have, and then they come out and they trim it. So rather than having 15,000 people call PPL, if it wouldn't be a burden on utilities, I don't know that, they call utilities, you set up a small database, the name, the caller, date reported, then you can have what the problem is. And then you could call in, you have a direct contact then, like we have with the Waste Management Company. You call in and here are 5 calls we got today. Rather than all these people calling and waiting on hold, we could have a more streamlined approach and clean it up. Because the lights that are on all the time are a massive waste of power. And if you extrapolate that onto it, I'll say it, Advance Auto was on forever, all those lights, for over, like a year and a half. I called the company, nothing. So you make that across state lines, you do that in the country. It's a phenomenal waste of power. I don't know what the township could do to be a pace setter in this, but to get these people, get people to maintain their properties. Cut those off. But the ones on the streets are bad enough. And like I say, in Linglestown, it is a problem. Okay. And that's about it. I wasn't going to say anything, but all these things came up. So I thought I'd comment. But there is some history to some of these things. I brought the lights up before quite a few times as to what we're paying for and what we're getting. And the answer, we're going 12 hours on, 12 off. But if they're on too much, I think it's just a drain overall for the good of the order of everybody. Sometimes we have we have an obligation to look out for those that really aren't thinking that way. But it'll save them money and time. That money could be used elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And we appreciate your public comment. I don't think it would be a meeting if you had not gotten up to provide public comment. Thank you. Ms. Lindsay.
Robin Lindsay, 6244 Overview. I'm sure everybody saw the press release today from the Linglestown Fire Company. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the Linglestown Fire Company, its members, for all the years of service that they gave entertainment to the residents, the community here in Lower Paxton Township, and also thank them for many, many years. They did pay half of the bill for the fireworks. So I just want to let them know that everybody did appreciate what they have done for our community.
Thank you, Mrs. Lindsay. We agree. Is there any other public comment? Okay, let's move on to chair and board member comments. If you don't mind, I'll start it off. Director Kashipa, would you be able to open that link? Thank you. So under the second-class township code, one of our major charges as supervisors is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens. And I don't know how we can do that without protecting and prioritizing our first responders. So last week, Assistant Chief Joe Crum, who was with Linglestown 35, underwent surgery to remove a kidney suspected to have cancer, which could be related to his fire service. If you would like to support Chief Crum during his time of need, you can do so by going to that QR code right there. You can donate or you could purchase a shirt. And I would encourage all of you just to, if you can't donate or support, just read about his story and offer your kind words to him during this time. All proceeds will go to Assistant Chief Crum, and if you don't know him, he is really the backbone of our training division and a mentor to a lot of our younger firefighters. So if we can help him, please do. Any other board member comment?
I would like to reserve my comments until the end.
Ma'am, if I would just like to comment as well. I spoke to Chief Crum recently, several times between myself and Deputy Chief Graham. He's in good spirits. He's doing as well as can be expected. He's going to be pretty sore for an extended period of time, and they're pretty confident that they were able to get all the cancer.
Thank you. Any other comments from the supervisors? Okay. Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The due date for our solicitor RFPs was this past Friday. We received 4 interested law firms. We're currently going through those and setting up like a spreadsheet where we can compare and contrast them. Also due on Friday was our applications for township manager. We received approximately 22 applications. Not all of them were qualified, but I think we have a pretty good number that are. So again, since we go through the process of comparative analysis and compare one with the other, we're doing that right now. Setting up again a spreadsheet, grading them on various aspects of their resumes, and I had asked the supervisors if they wish to wish to provide questions that we could include on a questionnaire. I want to thank Supervisor McCormick sent me his pretty quick on Friday, so so we're building the questionnaire right now. That'll go out to them this week, and then that'll be sort of the second phase in our assessment of our candidates.
Thank you, Mr. Vernell. We'll move on to old business. Item 7.1, which is a motion to approve an interim finance management services agreement. Mr. Vernell.
Yes, thank you. This was the item I believe that was brought up at the last meeting for our interim finance director, Richard Grove. There was one clause that was in question in that agreement regarding tax withholding. We removed that clause. So it's now the same clause you saw last week with the exception of that clause. So I think if the board's willing, we would like to have that approved. So just tie up that loose end.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the interim finance management services agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any public comment or discussion on the matter? Mr. Packer.
John Packer, 5723 Kenwood Avenue. Since I wasn't here last week, I did watch the meeting afterwards and saw this. And to my recollection, the wording for the managers and Mr. Kashiba's interim assistant manager has the same language. So my question would be, if it was a concern not to put it in this contract, should it be extrapolated from theirs so that things are consistent?
Yeah, I think one of the concerns was whether or not we were characterizing the person as an employer or contractor. Director Kashiba is already an employee. The other language, and Mr. Vernot spoke to this last time as well, was the tax liability language. And I think the employee does have the responsibility to make sure their taxes are paid, whether or not it's articulated in the contract. So, Mr. Vernot, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Well, can I just say, like, my concern, because I did see it then and I did not bring it up. I don't know if I was at that meeting or not. But, I mean, he explained it very well last week. There's a difference between a 1099 employee and an employee. So the 1099 contractor, per se, not even an employee, that's not the correct word, sets their own schedule, makes their own rates, sends you a bill, and then they are responsible for their taxes on that money that the township would pay them. An employee, you know, is a W-2 employee. You tell them when to come to work. You tell them, you know, what they're going to do. You give them equipment. So that's fine, but again, I just see the same confusion, especially more so for Mr. Vernot, just because he is here on an interim basis. That, you know, I mean, you're putting this, again, it's the same thing that you're taking out of this one. Why would you leave it in their contracts as well?
Right. Well, Supervisor Vecchio wants to respond. The only other thing I'll mention is that tax language that's in there, it might be appropriate for a W-2 employee as well. If the township doesn't withhold enough, that employee is still responsible for making their income tax payments.
That's what I was going to say. It was kind of boot and suspender language, because when an employee fills out a W-2, we rely on what they say to withhold the taxes. And if they don't do their W-2 correctly and we don't withhold enough, it's still the employee's responsibility to pay those taxes in the end.
Anything else, Mr. Vernot?
No, I would just say Mr. Packer's correct. That clause is in my agreement. The board did approve it, and as I said last week, it's a harmless clause. It does no harm, and the explanation that you two supervisors just gave is right. I mean, it does protect the township, even though the person would have a responsibility to pay their own taxes anyway. As you said, Supervisor, it's boots and suspenders language. It does no harm, which is probably why nobody said anything about it when you approved mine. I'm not sure why it became an issue this time, but we took it out.
But thank you for raising questions and concerns. This is what the public should be doing. We appreciate it, Mr. Packer. So on the question, there's a properly made motion and a second. Any other public comment, discussion on the matter? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Item 8.1, discussion on the reallocation of CIP funds. Director Kashiba.
Thank you. So the reallocation of the CIP funds, the police department had in its CIP capital improvement funds for this year, a significant amount of money, $115,000 for some work on a off-site evidence building. There became two needs. One, the fuel center project was underfunded, so we agreed to push this project into another year when it came to the off-site evidence storage. And we also had an immediate need in the police bureau, the men's locker room. There are waterless urinals down there. There's issues with those. There are issues with the showers with a significant amount of black mold and some missing towels. So we sought multiple estimates for the work that needed to be done down there, and those are listed throughout the attachments here, but the one that we chose is the lowest bid and does meet our need to fix the issues associated with the men's bathroom. Is W.C. Eschenauer and Son Incorporated, with a total cost of $32,255. That sum of money will also be reallocated from that initial off-site evidence storage project to pay for this, and the remainder of that project fund would go towards the fuel center to assist with completing that project, because we need to make sure our fuel center is up and running.
Are there any questions for Director Kashiba? Okay.
How soon will they start the work?
I would imagine it would be within the next 30 days was our last conversation with them. Their workload pending.
So just for clarification, you're asking that we take action on this item? Discussion was listed on the agenda. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So then I will make a motion to approve the reallocation of the CIP funds and award the contract to W.C. Eschenauer and Son, Inc. May I have a second? Supervisor McCormick, any public comment or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 8.2, motion to approve a contract for financial management services from Hamilton and Musser CPAs. Mr. Vernell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our current finance manager, Jada Dunlap, is leaving us at the end of the month and going back to work for her former employer, Hamilton and Musser CPAs. However, they did offer us a contract to continue using her services during this transitional period until we get the new finance director in place, and probably eventually a financial manager to replace Ms. Dunlap. So we've gone over the maintenance agreement. I've discussed this with Nicholas Shearer, who is the principal over there involved with this contract. And we would like to enter into this contract. We would like to have Ms. Dunlap available to us it's a 20-hour-a-week basis, so not full-time, but 20 hours a week, to come in and handle the kind of things that she's been handling recently, with a few exceptions, and the exceptions are listed in the agreement. So she won't be working on any budget items. It'll be the oversight of accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, the kind of stuff she's doing now, the banking and things like that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vernell. Are there any questions from the board for Mr. Vernell? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the contract for financial management services from Hamilton and Musser CPAs?
I motion to approve the contract for financial management services from Hamilton and Musser CPAs.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Action item 8.3, a motion to approve a winter maintenance service agreement with PennDOT. Mr. Vernell.
Thank you. This is our annual agreement with PennDOT for them to reimburse us for performing certain winter maintenance services on roads owned by the state. Probably the most notable thing about the agreement is it sets the lane rates for the various types of roadways, which is the table sort of at the very end. So we're looking at, for the winter 2025 through 2026, at a $256,592 agreement that would have us taking care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 roads in the township.
Are there any questions for Mr. Vernell? All right, may I have a motion to, oh, sorry, Supervisor Thompson?
Lingelstown Road is not listed.
We don't plow Lingelstown Road. The state does.
The state plows that.
Correct. So this, yeah, it only covers roads that belong to them that we maintain.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Vernell?
Mr. Miller in the back. Yep, Mr. Miller in the back.
Sure. Mr. Miller, please.
Take a motion first.
Yeah, I usually make a motion.
I was trying to read through it there. William Miller, I assume Colonial Road's one of those.
Yes.
Historically, in the past, Colonial Road has, sometimes it seems like an orphan. At times, it depends who's in charge, and I don't know who delineates when the township rolls on that road. Do they do a preemptive treatment prior to, ice? There's been situations out there, it's been a parking lot. It's a major artery when with all the increased housing, all the hundreds and hundreds of stray wind farm units and Colonial Crest, now we're cutting back Oak Valley to Fairway. I'm just hoping that they're more proactive on this road. I mean, I don't know, I guess there's a limit, a cap on the amount of money, but I just haven't, and again, I don't know who's in charge of hey, I want you to go out there and do Colonial Road today. I think there just needs to be a normal plan that you will hit that road and you will hit it before the snow or the sleet or whatever is expected to hit it. And if it doesn't snow, well, we got some extra salt on the road. But the road is, if you look at it and people know the history, it is a hit or miss item. And I live there, the people complain to me, we complain to you. And I just hope that they do, I'm not saying they did a bad job, but I'd like to see a more proactive job on that particular artery. It's a major artery through the township for every kind of vehicle we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We'll take public comment now. Is there any other public comment or question on the agreement? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the winter maintenance agreement with PennDOT?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Subdivision and land development. Action item 9.1 is the preliminary final land development plan for Winter Sports Fieldhouse and Venue Phase 1 for Bishop McDevitt High School. Director Zerbe.
Good evening, Board. The preliminary final land development plan for the Winter Sports Field House and Venue Phase 1 proposes to construct a 2-story athletic facility at the Bishop McDevitt High School campus. The proposed field house will have a total height of 39 feet with a building footprint of 12,413 square feet. The field house will be constructed on the grass overflow parking and practice field. A total of 50 overflow parking spaces will be relocated on site to accommodate the construction. The field house will not be accommodating spectators as this is an internal use of the Bishop McDevitt campus that will be utilized by students for athletic training purposes only. The construction of the field house will not require additional parking due to the student enrollment remaining the same. The site is located in the institutional zoning district and will be served by public water and sewer. The applicant has requested 3 waivers, which staff supports and are customary for a building addition. There are 4 administrative comments and 4 general comments to be satisfied prior to the plan being recorded. And there are several representatives for the plan here this evening to address any comments the board may have.
Thank you. Mr. Giorgione.
How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Andy Giorgione. I'm the president, volunteer president of the Board of Directors of Bishop McDevitt. I have with me Ryan Schuster, K&W Engineers that did our land development plan. I also have Chris Dawson, our architect. So we're here to answer any of your questions.
Are there any questions for Director Zerby or Mr. Giorgione?
No questions for me.
Me either.
Ms. Serby, when is this plan, when would construction start
Probably next spring.
next spring?
We have a process we have to go through with the dioceses for building on the Catholic campus, and that's a lot more strenuous than this one.
And today was the first day of classes for students at Bishop McDevitt, correct?
Yes.
Very good. Are there any other questions? Okay. On the item, may I have a motion to approve the preliminary final land development plan for the Winter Sports Field House and Venue Phase 1 for Bishop McDevitt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any other public comment, question on the action item? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giorgio, and thank you, everybody, and thank you, Director Zerby. Okay, moving on to 9.2, improvement guarantees. Supervisor Thompson.
So we have 2 improvement guarantees. Sheet Store, they need a short extension. They are currently sitting at about $20,000 worth of work that needs to be completed. They started at about $138,000, so it's just really cleanup work to be done. I am happily announcing that Memorial Eye Institute is being released. Everything has been completed, and we are getting that off our books. It has been sitting on our books since May of 2013, so we are thrilled to finally have the sidewalk in, and we hope that that encourages other people in that area to go ahead and do their sidewalks. I would like to compliment Ms. Zerby in terms of shepherding that installation through. We appreciate you, Amanda Zerby. Thank you so much.
The sidewalk is beautiful. We appreciate it. Do we have any information on the items for sheets, how long they will take to complete? No?
It should be a long time.
Okay, thank you. All right, Supervisor Thompson, are you making a motion to approve the improvement guarantees?
I make a motion to approve the improvement guarantees. I'll need a second.
Second.
Is there any public comment or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Supervisor Thompson.
Having reviewed the 3 check registers in detail, I make a motion for the township to go ahead and pay the various bills of the township.
Thank you, Supervisor Thompson. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any public comment, questions, discussion on the bills? No. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Announcements. Supervisor Thompson?
So I have 3 things that I'll be discussing tonight. One, when we come back in September 2nd, we will start our budget process. Is that correct? So I can't remember who we start with. Do you?
Me.
Okay. We start with planning and development. So remember, I told you a couple weeks ago, and I've been mentioning this, that this is a participatory budget process, so the public is invited. And we would like to see some people in those chairs in the 174 room so that you have an opportunity to express any concerns or issues that you may want to get on the record. Remember, we have a development coming out on Weinrich Road, so you may want to make some comments about that during that process. The other question, I announced a couple of weeks ago, well, maybe it was in the last board meeting, that I was looking for any legal questions that people wanted to have answered regarding the appointment of the supervisors during that tumultuous process that we went through. I watched the prior vacancy board meetings on March 20th and April 8th, and you all can go back and watch those same meetings. For some reason, nobody caught that we had a attorney in the room who was available to us to answer questions. As I said, it was a tumultuous process, so the interim township manager has agreed to take questions, and we will eventually submit them to get those answered. The third issue is I'm requesting an investigation into the fact that I was under surveillance starting July 1st, 2024, until about December 31st, 2024. Whenever I used my fob to come into the building, it was recorded, and I would like to find out all the details on that. So I'm asking for an investigation as to why this supervisor was under surveillance. Those are all my announcements for the evening.
Thank you, Supervisor Thompson. Are there any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight.